Cursor 3.3 is not just another agent update. This is fluid coding and AI, and today we are looking at Cursor's shift from one assistant editing files to one developer controlling multiple agent-produced branches. The big question is simple. Does this make real software work easier or just more complicated? The promise of Cursor 3.3 is coordination. A developer starts with a plan, Cursor looks for independent pieces, launches async subagents where parallel work makes sense, preserves ordering where dependencies matter, and then helps turn the result into reviewable pull requests. That is the control plane idea. Cursor does not officially use that label here, but it is a useful way to describe the workflow, schedule the work, inspect the work, and keep merge decisions human. Cursor 3.3 sits on top of several earlier moves. In February, Cursor added async subagents. Later, cloud agents got their own isolated computers. Cursor 3 brought local and cloud agents into one agents window. Cursor 3.2 added multitask work trees and multi-root workspaces. So when 3.3 arrives with PR review, build in parallel, and split PRs, it is not a random bundle. It is the next step in a staged move toward parallel agent work. The core loop is easy to miss because every piece sounds familiar on its own. First, write or request a plan. Then Cursor identifies independent tasks and dependency chains. Independent work can run through async subagents. Shared contracts and ordering constraints stay sequenced. After that, the developer supervises outputs inside the agent's window, reviews diffs and artifacts, splits the final work into logical pull requests, and chooses what should land. The value is not just more agents. The value is controlled handoff. Build in parallel is the feature that makes the release feel different. Cursor says it can inspect a plan, find independent sections, run those sections simultaneously with async subagents, and preserve ordering for dependent steps. In practice, that matters for work like a feature migration, where the UI cleanup, test coverage, and documentation can move separately, but a shared data contract still has to land first. The hard part is not launching agents. The hard part is splitting work without creating hidden conflicts. Cursor 3.3 also tightens the other side of the workflow, review. The PR surface in Cursor 3 has Reviews, Commits, and Changes tabs. Reviews keeps inline threads and top-level comments together. Commits focuses on history. Changes gives a file tree and picker for large pull requests. Then Split PRs uses chat context to find logical slices, creates a backup snapshot, proposes a split plan, and defaults to independent pull requests unless dependencies are needed. That is aimed directly at the mess created by one giant agent-generated branch. Parallel agents only help if the reviewer can trust the output. Cursor's cloud agent story has been moving toward artifacts, not just diffs. The company has described agents returning screenshots, videos, logs, live previews, and summaries after running work in isolated environments. That changes the review question. Instead of asking, did the agent touch the right files, the better question is, what evidence did this run leave behind, and is it enough for me to merge? The next bottleneck is environment fidelity. If an agent cannot access the right repo, dependencies, test data, secrets, build steps, or network rules, parallel execution just creates parallel failure. That is why Cursor 3.4 matters to the 3.3 story, even though it shipped later. Its development environment features add multi-repo configuration, Docker file-based setup, scoped secrets, egress controls, version history, rollback, and audit logs. A control plane needs workers that can actually run the job. The benchmark story is useful, but it should stay scoped. Cursor's first-party Composer 2.5 table reports 69.3% on terminal. Bench 2.0 79.8% on SWE, Bench multilingual, and 63.2% on harder Cursor Bench v3.5 wins tasks. That does not prove Composer 2.5 wins everywhere. In the same table, GPT 5.5 leads Terminal Bench, and Opus 4.7 is slightly ahead on some other scores. The stronger point is that Cursor is aligning models, evaluations, subagents, and PR workflow around. There are real risks. Some developers value Cursor because it feels fast, local, and precise. An agent-first dashboard can feel like abstraction in the wrong place. Community reports also point to practical issues around review UI behavior, context visibility, and WSL workflows. Those reports are anecdotal, not survey data. But the concern is legitimate. If the control plane hides too much, loses context between agents, or makes review harder, then parallelism becomes overhead instead of leverage. The practical verdict is this: use Cursor 3.3's workflow when the work can be decomposed, the repo can tolerate parallel branches, and you have receipts for review. Good candidates are feature slices, test expansion, documentation updates, migrations with clear contracts, and cleanup work that can be isolated. Do not treat it as a magic merge button. The human role moves up a level, write better plans, define boundaries, check artifacts, split the work cleanly, and decide what earns a merge. Cursor 3.3 is a good reminder that agentic coding is becoming less about one perfect prompt and more about operating a reliable workflow. If this helped you think through where parallel agents belong in your own repo, like the video and subscribe to Fluid Coding and AI.